labor market without people involved. So there are people that are involved in the labor market. That means they are workers. So whenever you hear labor market, it means we're talking about workers, like I am, like what you're going to be in the future. Do we understand? Yeah. So what brings us together? How do we come together to think about getting a job and finding a job or giving out a job? So that means giving out a job means you need a friend, a company. And finding a job means you need a graduate who is seeking for unemployment. So I am looking for a job, the company is giving a job. Then how do we meet? We meet where? In the labor market. Do we get it?
Yeah.
So the labor market is where the demand for labor and the supply of labor exchange. So this is where they meet. This is when I am going to look for a job. This is where I'm going to get a job. Do we understand the labor market here?
Yeah.
So what is the labor market? I said it is a place where the demand for labor and the supply of labor is being exchanged. It's being exchanged. Yeah. So there's that individual or those individuals who need a job. And there's that firm. You know what firms are? Companies. There's that firm that wants to give out a job. So where they interchange, where they meet, that point they meet is what we call labor market. Do we get labor market?
Yeah.
Okay. So I said it's a place where the demand for labor and supply of labor is being exchanged. So what is the demand for labor? What is demand for labor? It is the total number of workers firms are willing and able to employ at a given wage rate. So demand for labor means I as a firm, I have a company, I need to employ workers. So the total number of workers I am willing to employ and able to pay to is the demand for labor. Just like demand, the total number of goods and services consumers are willing to buy. Do you remember that? The total number of goods and services consumers are willing to buy. Same goes to demand for labor. Demand for labor is the total number of workers now, not goods and services. The total number of workers firms are willing and able to employ at a given wage rate. That means their salary, the amount of money they're going to get whenever they carry out their function, whenever they get the job done. So the total number of workers we can employ, the school can employ, the companies can employ at a given wage rate is what we call demand for labor. The demand for the workers. Do we understand demand for labor?
Yeah.
So what are the factors that makes us to talk about demand for labor? What are the factors that have to be considered before we talk about demand for labor? So firms are not just going to go to the market and say they need workers. There should be certain criteria, there should be certain reasons. There will be reasons for needing, for wanting an employer, an employee. So there will be reasons why we need the services of workers. So what are those factors? Number one, labor productivity. What do we mean by labor productivity? But before we talk about labor productivity, it has a formula. The formula is output over what? Total number of workers. So in the exams or in any question you see, they could ask you to find the labor productivity. So the formula for labor productivity is what? Total output divided by total number of workers. That means what you are producing divided by the total number of workers that were able to produce it. Do we understand? The unit of output divided by the number of workers. That will give you what? Labor productivity. So labor productivity is one of the reasons or one of the factors that will make us to think that we need workers, that will cause the demand for labor. So how does the labor productivity cause a demand for labor? We said what? The level of output needed by firms will determine the number of workers needed to create efficiency. So maybe we need to employ more. Why do we need to employ more workers here? We need to employ more workers because what we need to produce, the total number of workers we have available cannot produce them. Not that they can't, but it might take time. And when it's going to take time, it means they're going to lack what? Efficiency. Efficiency means you're getting it done the right time. So when we know as firms that we won't be able to produce what our consumers or our customers are demanding from us at a given period of time. When we know
How about you just go there?
So when we know that at a different level of productivity, we can't produce at a given period of time what our customers are asking from us, that means we need to get more workers. That's what we talk about, what? Labor productivity. It means what? At this point in time, we need to be efficient. And to be efficient, we need more workers to join our company or to join our firm. Do you understand one of the factors that will make us to demand for labor?
Yeah.
Do we get it?
Yeah.
So we need more workers to be what? Efficient. Not that the workers can't. They will, but it might take time. But that time we don't have. And the only way out to make us to become efficient in the face of our customers to have goodwill is to what? To employ more workers. So to increase our labor productivity, we need to demand for more workers. Do we get it?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
The second one, capital productivity. The level of machinery in terms of production could determine the number of workers needed by firms. Now, we're not talking about human anymore, but most of the time, we have the machine in place. Those machines will do the job we want. But if those machines can't finish up with the job, we need to get more workers to join up with the job. Do we get the point here?
Yes.
We might need more workers because the machines we have available could not finish up with the job. Do we understand this point?
Yes, sir.
That is what we call capital productivity. Then we have employment cost. What's the employment cost? The expenditure on labor employment could determine the number of workers firms will intend to employ. This implies that the lower the wage rate, the higher the demand for labor and vice versa. What are we saying here? Sometimes we might want to employ workers, but the amount of money we pay to workers might hinder us to take more workers. So most of the time when the wage rate is low, I mean when the amount of money we have to pay to workers are less, we employ more. Do we get it? So we employ more workers because the amount of money we pay to those workers are not much. Do we get the point here?
Yes, sir.
So employment cost is part of the amount of money we pay to our employees. So if the employees are getting less, we can employ more. And if they are getting more, we employ less. That is what we're talking about here. So the employment cost is also one of the factors that makes us to think we need more workers. Do we understand? Then we talk about supply of labor. It's different from demand for labor. So what is supply of labor? This is the total number of workers that are willing and able to work, who have made themselves available for a job at a given wage rate. So at this point in time, I am looking for a job. You are looking for a job. We are all looking for a job. So we really want to work. So we are making ourselves available for that job at a given wage rate. This is what we call supply of labor, not demand here. Demand is for the firms. Supply is for we that needs a job. We are making ourselves available for the job. Do we get it?
Yeah.
So, what are the factors affecting the supply of labor? One, advantages of occupation. That means all the advantages of occupation is are those factors that makes us to supply ourselves for labor. That makes us to say we are making ourselves available for work. Do you get it?
Mm-hmm.
All the advantages, all the importance of occupation are those advantages, are those factors that makes us to want to make ourselves available for the job. Do we get it? So what is occupation itself? Occupation is any productive activity which a person engages himself or herself permanently to save its productivity time. Occupation means the job you do. And when you are going for that job, when you are out there working, it means you are saving your productivity time. Why is it a productive time? It's a productive time because that time is the time that you can even choose not to do nothing. You could choose to spend that time the way you want it, not being productive. But because you've engaged yourself in a job, that makes it what we call occupation. That's why occupation is what? Any productive activity which I have engaged myself permanently to save my productivity time. I don't want to waste my time. I want to get involved in something doing. I want to get something doing. Do we understand? So why am I making myself available for a job? It means I have seen all the benefits of getting a job. Do we get it here? Why am I making myself available for a job? I am making myself available for that job because I have seen the importance of having that job. That's why we said what? One of the factors of supply of labor is what? The advantages of occupation. So why do I have to work? So if I have reasons for working, it means these reasons are beneficial to me. So because these reasons are beneficial to me, I really need to work. So some people who don't work if they don't have anything that's going to benefit them. So I'm going to take that job because it is beneficial. I'm going to take that job because it's going to help me to sort a lot of things I need to sort. So without me having that job, I might not be able to sort these things. Do we understand here? So now let's say basic pay. The first one is basic pay. What is a basic pay? An individual could choose a job ahead of another due to the salary involved. Example, a doctor could earn more than a teacher, which means I have to be a doctor. So it's an example here. So I have chosen this job because I choose to be a doctor because I know or I heard that they earn more than teachers. I don't want to be a teacher, I want to be a doctor. So I want to work now. I want to work as a doctor because I earn more as a doctor. I'm going to earn more as a doctor. So I am making myself available for a job because I'm going to earn more as a doctor. Do we get it? The next one, job satisfaction. A job could give more happiness than another in terms of its operation. So I might choose to want to work. I might be making myself available for a job because I will derive happiness from it, because I will derive satisfaction from it. So I'm choosing to work. I want to work now. I don't want to sleep at home. I don't want to be busy doing nothing. I want to be busy saving my time to be productive because I know at the end of it all, I'm going to be happy doing it. Do you understand job satisfaction here?
Yeah.
So because you're going to be happy doing that job, you need the job. And the job is what? Occupation. Do we understand? The third one, fringe benefits involved. When I talk about fringe benefits are the benefits we get because we are part of an association or because we are part of a setting. You don't get these benefits if you are not part of that setting. I won't be able to use the school, maybe I won't be able to use the school card if I am not part of a teacher or part of the staff of the school. I won't be able to stay in the school's apartment if I am not a teacher here. So because I will get these benefits, I really need to work. Do we understand? So that's what we call what? Fringe benefits. Then, wage differential. So what do we mean by wage differential? Remember, in economics, we said the reward for labor is what? The reward for labor. Oh, you forgot it. Don't tell me that. The reward for labor is what?
Rent.
The reward for labor. What?
Wages and salary.
Wages and salary. Thank you. Wages and salary. Wages and salary. That's the reward for labor. So because you have chosen a job, you're going to get a reward, and the reward. So whatever we're talking about labor here, it's going to involve what? Wages and salary. Do you remember that now?
Yes.
Okay. So these wages we're talking about, we don't get the same amount of money. We don't get the same wages. We don't get the same salary. Why don't we get the same? Why am I a teacher? Why is she a teacher? And why is she getting more than I get? Or why am I getting more than he gets? We call it what? Wage differential. So what is wage differential? It implies the reasons why some workers' wages are higher than other workers. This is why some workers will get more than other workers. This is what we call wage differential. Do we get the point here?
Yes, sir.
Any question up to now?
No.
Should I continue? Okay. So, I said it implies the reasons why some workers' wages are higher than other workers. So, one of the reasons, one, abilities and qualification. I am a teacher. She is a teacher. He is a teacher. But he has more abilities than I do. He has more qualifications than I have. So that means he or she should get more than I get. But if I have more qualification and more abilities than he or she, I could get more than them. Do we understand reasons here? So wages could be based on what? Your own ability and your qualification. Maybe I have BSc and he has MSc. Maybe I have MSc, he has PhD. So he's going to get more as a teacher than I as a teacher. But we are both teachers. But we're not getting the same thing because of my own ability or my qualification and his or her own ability and his or her own qualification. Do we understand wage differential here? So one of the reasons why we don't get the same wage, despite doing the same job, is what we call is abilities and qualification. The second one is what? Lack of information on the job. We might be doing the same job, but I understand the job more than you understand. Or you understand the job more than I understand. So you could get more because you understand the job more than I do. I still need to get more information to get the job done. Maybe I seek your own advice, or I do seek your own assistance. I do seek your own, what do I call it? I seek your own attention to get the job done. So for every time I seek your own attention to get the job done, that means you should get more than I get. Because you know the job more than I do, despite the fact that we do the same job. So we could have wage differential. We could have wage differential in terms of, our information regarding the job. I have more knowledge about the job. You have less knowledge about the job. You have more knowledge about the job than I do. So that means you should get more than I do. Do you understand wage differential here?
Yes, sir.
The third one, dirty jobs and unsociable hours. What are dirty jobs? Jobs that are illegal. These jobs, they could get more. I don't want to mention those jobs. You understand what I'm talking about here?
Yes.
So these jobs, you could get more, but they are dirty. They are not legal. And also unsociable hours. I could get more money than you because I work 24 hours and you work 12 hours. While you are sleeping, I am working. This could make me to get more than you get. But we are both teachers. But I work even after when you are sleeping. Do we understand here? So now we go on to same job but different wages. You do the same job, but you get different amount. That means the same job, I mean you have the same function. I am teaching math, she's teaching math. I am teaching economics, she's teaching economics. But why is she getting than I get? This is what we mean by same job but different wages. Do we get the point here? So what are those reasons why we do the same job, we carry out the same function, and we don't get the same wage or reward? Number one, discrimination. What is discrimination? Discrimination means an unfair treatment of one another. So I'm not being treated fairly, or you're not being treated fairly. Do you understand this point here? So look at discrimination here. First might choose to pay a worker higher than another, despite doing the same job, due to religion, race, and so on. So as a firm, I am not paying you and you the same because I know you as a Muslim, and I know him as not a Muslim. So I'm paying you more because you are a Muslim and I am a Muslim. That's discrimination, which must not happen. In as much as you know the job, he knows the job, you're doing the same thing, you get the same. So one of the reasons why we don't get the same could be because of religion, maybe race. Oh, I'm from Miswata, he's from Benghazi, he's not going to get the same. Are we getting it here?
Yes, sir.
So these are reasons why we talk about wage differential. It could be the reason. Not that you don't know the job, but because you are not the same race with me. So I'm going to give him that is the same race with me more than you. Do we understand?
Yes, sir.
The third one. Okay, the second one. Length of service. The years each worker has been involved with the firm. So we are doing the same job, but you are just employed into the job. Because you are just employed into the job, you might not get the same money as I'm getting. I have more experience than you do, or I've been in the job more than you do. This could be one of the reasons also. Do we get that?
Yeah.
And the last one, regional differences in labor market. We talked about labor market already, that's what? A place where the demand for labor and the supply of labor exchange, right? So here, maybe in this country or in this region, the demand for labor is high. And in that region, the demand for labor is low. The supply of labor is more in that region than the demand for labor there. So where the demand for labor is more, the wage rate is higher. And when the supply of labor is high, the wage rate falls. Do we understand the point here? I might be a doctor in Tripoli, you might be a doctor in Benghazi. But if doctors are much needed in Tripoli than in Benghazi, doctors will get more money here than in Benghazi. And if we have more doctors in Benghazi and less doctors in here we get more because there are a lot of doctors there. So because there are a lot of doctors there, we could pay them the same, we could pay them less because everybody will want the job. If the supply for labor is more, that means if you have more people that need a job, the wage rate will fall. Do we get the logic here? If more people are applying for a job, if we have excess supply of labor, the wage rate will fall. And if we have excess demand for labor, the wage rate will rise. Do we get the point here?
Yes.
So the higher the demand for labor, the higher the wage rate. The lower the demand for labor, the lower the wage rate. The higher the supply of labor, the lower the wage rate. The lower the supply of labor, the higher the wage rate. This is all about demand for labor and supply of labor. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any question?